You think you might be getting richer, but in reality, you're probably just getting by. You know, it's a harsh truth, but it's time that someone said it. Your poor money making habits and your poor money management skills are making you a perfect candidate for financial failure. Now, over all my videos, I've tried to remain politically correct, but honestly, for what? Most people are broke, they need help. Enough with me sugarcoating everything. Today, I bring to you the 5 brutal money traps that are chaining you to a lifetime of financial struggle. Now, as we learn about these money traps, I want you to ask yourself if any of them pertain to you. Now, the reality is, a lot of you might not think that they pertain to you or that you think you understand it. But if you truly understand how money works, then why are you even worried about these videos? It's probably because you're not making enough money. You're trying to figure out how to get ahead in life. And hopefully by the end of this video, you can come to the realization that if you change a few key things, you can have the success that you've always dreamed about. Now, money trap number 1 is the fact that you never pay yourself first. I'm sure you've heard it in the past, but do you truly understand it? Here's how most people work. They get a paycheck, the money comes in, and they immediately pay their phone bill, their credit card bill, their gas, their electric. They go and fill up the car. They do all of these things. They pay bills, bills, bills. And at the end of that week, they look at their money in the bank account and they've got nothing left. And so guess what? They don't invest anything. Because at this point, they think, well, everything is spent. I've got no money left. It's just time to wait till next check, and maybe then I will invest some money. The key is to invest in yourself first. What this means is when a paycheck comes in, take a specific percentage, say 10% of that money, and immediately put it in a savings account and get it prepared to invest it into something that you want to invest in for the future. The trouble is most people do not have the determination, they don't have the self-discipline to actually move that money aside and make sure that they invest it into their future. But this leads me perfectly to number 2, which is a massive trap for the majority of people in the world. It's that they don't use good debt. There's a lot of different pieces of information on the internet about this, and I'll share my perspective now. On the left side, you've got guys like Dave Ramsey, who was once burnt by debt, so much so that now he tells everyone that debt is bad and you should never use debt. And then you have guys on the right side of the equation like Grant Cardone or Robert Kiyosaki saying, take as much debt as possible and grow your income and grow your life and you will have financial freedom. So the question is, what one is right? And I believe the answer lies in the middle. There's good debt and there's bad debt. Let me explain the difference. Bad debt is like buying a car. In 2021, I bought a Tesla Model Y for $69,000 cash. I wrote the check to the guy at the bank. He gave me the car. I drove home. I don't have a loan on it, but here's the kicker. Today in 2024, that car is only worth approximately $30,000. So imagine in that case, had I taken out a loan for $69,000, I would probably still owe somewhere in the realm of $60,000 on that vehicle. If I want to trade that in or sell it, I owe the bank $30,000 just to get out of that car. That's when people get into trouble. So bad debt is when you're investing your debt and you're using debt on depreciating assets like vehicles. Never finance a vehicle, never finance anything that will depreciate in value in the future. But that leads me on the right side, which is good debt. What is good debt? Good debt is investing into an asset and an asset class that historically has appreciated in value. I'll give you an example. In December of 2020, I purchased this property you see me sitting in today for $565,000 in Scottsdale, Arizona. I put 15% down, which was approximately $80,000 in cash, and I took out a loan at 2.7%. My principal and interest payment is somewhere about $1,900 a month. And now today, this property is worth $750,000. That is a $200,000 leap in equity, and I haven't gotten rid of course, my down payment. That means I took an $80,000 down payment and flipped that into $280,000 right now worth of equity in the home by using good debt at a low interest rate fixed over a 30-year term. But the trouble is, a lot of people really do understand they need to pay themselves first. They understand the idea of good debt versus bad debt, and I think that majority of people know these things, but that leads me to number 3, the trap about learning financial literacy. So the reality is, most people don't know how money works. They act like they do, but they truly don't know how money works. If you knew how money works, why are you not where you want to be financially? Usually the answer lies within the idea of a tool. Money is a tool and it's useless until it's used. And what most people are taught in their life from generation to generation is that you must save for a rainy day and you must hoard as much cash as possible. Here's a scary statistic for you. The value of the dollar has diminished by over 90% since 1900. It has diminished over 20% in just the last 4 years. In school, we are taught that the dollar, that money, that cash is an asset. Name another quote unquote asset that is consistently for the last 100 years depreciated in value. You simply can't. You must understand the game of how money works. The wealthy get rid of money. They invest it into things that consistently appreciate in value, such as silver, such as gold, such as companies and businesses, real estate, and stocks. These are ideas of things that you can put your money to work in. Think about the last time you played Monopoly. Who won the game? It was probably a person that consistently invested into properties every single time they went around the corners, every single time they went around the board. And all of those other people that were playing with them, they had to pay them rent. And every single time they hit, they paid them rent. And that person eventually got wealthier and wealthier and wealthier. That is how life works. We are simply playing Monopoly, but you must understand how the financial system works in order to get ahead. Now, speaking of getting ahead, that leads me to financial trap number 4, having multiple sources of income. Now, I know this is exactly opposite from what all your financial gurus have taught you on the internet. They always say you need to have minimum 7 sources of income because that's what the average millionaire has. And guess what? That's true. But it means nothing for you right now. If you're making $30,000 or $40,000 right now at your job, the last thing you want to do is try to go invest in 7 other businesses and water down everything. What you want to do is you want to focus on one income. Every single successful person that I've met, as well as studied, have focused on one income and gotten it to the point of no return, where they're making so much money that they need other sources of income to invest into. An example of this is you start your own landscaping business, and it starts by making you $1,000 a month. But over time, you start to grow and hire people, and suddenly that business is making you, in your pocket, an extra $15,000 a month, and your expenses are only $5,000. Now you have $10,000 a month to toy with, to play with. And at this point, guess what? You can utilize that $10,000 to invest in other sources of income. You can save it to then go buy another rental property, which brings you in a second source of income. But here's the kicker. You would have never gotten to that point had you not focused on that landscaping business for long enough. The trouble is everybody starts one business, they make a couple bucks, and they immediately start a second. They never make enough money in the first business to even justify starting a second source of income. But now finally, I unveil to you guys the most important of them all, the financial trap that kills majority of Americans, and frankly, the majority of everybody around the world. It's caring what other people think. You see, social media has made the world smaller. I can see people on the internet, what they're talking about, what they're doing, what they're driving, what they're wearing. And what this has done is it's created a comparison game for people like us. I'm here to tell you, nobody cares what you're wearing today. Nobody's going to bed thinking about you tonight. You have to stop thinking about what other people think about you. Because you must ask yourself, do I really think about all these other people when I go to bed at night? Probably not. You're not thinking about these other people. They're not thinking about you. And so what a lot of people do is they make the mistake of trying to look rich, not be rich. Here's an example. Person A has a Lamborghini, and that Lamborghini is being paid for by a massive multi-family property that they had purchased the year prior. And every month, all those rental checks go into paying for that Lamborghini. Person B also owns the same Lamborghini, but this person works day in and day out, 80 hours a week, just to barely make ends meet to pay for their Lamborghini. They both look rich, but only one person is truly wealthy and has an asset that is paying for their depreciating asset. That, my friends, is the illusion of social media. Both people look the same, but only one is truly doing well. So today you must tell yourself that you don't care about what other people think about you. You don't care if other people think that your car sucks or your clothes suck. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Answer yourself this question. Had I been wearing a Gucci shirt, would you really have listened to me any more than wearing a white blank t-shirt? Probably not. Maybe for some of you, you actually wouldn't have listened to the person with the Gucci t-shirt. Maybe for some of you, you would. You must realize material items do not indicate success. I've met plenty of successful people that wear designer clothing, but I've also met plenty of successful people that simply wear simple t-shirts, simple pants, and drive a simple car. It's all about what those people like. Some people love watches, some love cars, some love houses, some love travel. The point is, do it for you. When you make the money, you must do it for you. But the question is, what are you going to spend your money on? And what we did is we made an entire training video on when $1 or $100 of your paycheck comes in. I will show you to the penny where every dollar must go. We can automate this process, and you know exactly what you should spend on fixed expenses, emergency savings, long-term investments, and to splurge on yourself. And you can find that video right here. So I hope you enjoy this next training video, and we'll see you on the next one.